Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest Casual Pros podcast. My name is Rukari, and this is Jeff.
It's true.
And today, for like the first time, I think we're actually going to talk about gaming in depth.
Yeah.
About what we love, what we don't love,
That's not from a general career focus.
Right. We're actually going to talk about the games that we play.
Yeah.
The games that we played, the games that we can't stand, the games that we don't understand why they have the hype that they do. I guess we're just going to give you an insight into how our minds work. And I guess this is also the perfect place to do this. You know, the set's a little bit different than you're used to. And I decided to pack my shit and come over to Jeff's house. Yes, this is his house. This
nice.
Glass bit here, which you can't see, but actually holds a lot of gaming memorabilia. This entire room holds a lot of gaming memorabilia. And I guess before we start, Jeff, why don't you walk me through how this all came about? Because goddamn.
It's funny when my wife and I were looking for a place in the area. That was one of the, we had always joked. She started joking even when we were dating. We were down in Florida. She was like, "You need a Jeff museum, not about me, but about the things that I like."
Oh, so Jeff's museum.
Jeff. Yeah, exactly. So we had always joked about, because she always, well, you have a lot of stuff and you have a lot of interests. So when we were looking around at a place, it was always like, well, if we could find a place with like an extra room or something, that's what we would turn it into. And we were able to find that. And in all honesty, it's like a storage room for a lot of time. Technically, I guess you could still say it's a storage room. It's just more organized. But yeah, it's kind of where I keep a whole bunch of things that I have collected throughout my life, and it represents several different themes. A lot of gaming stuff, obviously, stuff that's back here. I'll try to not be super fading on the mic over here and turn around. But everything pretty much in this general area is Halo or Halo related. Every book we've ever released and some special bits and bobs in there and limited things. But yeah, just statues and a lot of cool model cars and a lot of racing things, music. Like there's a space that you can't see over there, but that's where eventually I'd like to have some stuff set up to start recording music again, like in the closet. It's just all the instruments and everything. So guitars and basses and keyboards. And
how long did it take to amass all of this? Like when did you?
How old am I?
Is it literally that? Are the collections that old?
Some things, like I'm looking across down there. There's a Pepsi Cola bottle, a glass bottle from the 1975 NASL championships when the Tampa Bay Rowdies won the essentially kind of like the MLS championship of that day. And that was my dad's. And then there's a signed football by Jeff Davis who used to play for the Bucks. I mean, I got that when I was like a kid, probably 6, 7 years old.
So you've been collecting. You've always.
Yeah, collecting is what they call hoarding in a really nice way.
Collecting is hoarding with direction, I feel.
Yes, I think it is. Yeah, it is specific, it's hoarding with...
hoarding a specific type of thing.
Yes, yeah.
In this sense, it's memorabilia.
Yeah, a lot of memorabilia. I mean, even in this case, there's just a lot of... But there is stuff even just from me. Like, there's some signed baseballs. I've got stuff signed like Derek Jeter and Andre Dawson and Dwight Gooden and stuff. But then there's another one that's like a game ball that I was given. It was the first game ball that I earned playing baseball as a kid. I think it was like 9 or 10 years old. And so all of my teammates as a kid signed it. That was just like the ritual. You get a game ball and the team signs it. And
do they write anything inappropriate on it?
Have a nice summer, you know.
KIT, keeping in touch. Or you're being in touch.
But yeah, so there's really a lot of stuff. Some of it is legit, just like memorabilia, things from collector's editions. I've got like a giant 18-inch Spawn figure in Assassin's Creed and Lord of the Rings Balrog statue and, collectible controllers, stuff like that. But then there's also like personal stuff, as well, which is stuff that means something to me.
Have you ever had to empty any of your collection out ever? Like I've consolidated a few times. Like, there's been plenty of things
for
where
sure.
I'm like, I don't want to give this up, but I will.
Yeah, for sure. There've definitely been things that I've had to consolidate down. And sometimes it was keeping things that were just like weird. Like I kept so many boxes, like boxes of things.
Of the electronics. That's
yeah,
not weird.
boxes of electronics.
I do
boxes,
that shit all the time.
like of games, or like for example, I got whatever the collector edition. I think it was called a Mithril edition or something of the War in the North box, and it wouldn't fit actually like in my car in the backseat. It was huge, and I kept it for a while. It could have been a coffee table, but when I moved actually into a bigger place for some reason, this is when I was getting a place with someone else.
Oh yeah, no, so yeah, okay, I get it. Well, that's the exact reason I have nothing like this.
I consolidated down like quite a few things, and in all honesty, a room like this is one of the ways that I almost kind of try to justify keeping it all.
Yeah.
Because it's silly sometimes to just have it like all in storage. Like this is neat because I have a spot that's kind of my spot to come in. And a lot of times, even if I'm doing writing for work or something like that, it's kind of like a reference library for me. You know, I work on Halo stuff. Like, so I literally, and I like pages. I can easily do things digitally, but sometimes I actually like to come in and just pull things off the shelf, look through things. And you just kind of surround yourself by things from that you love and your childhood, and so it's kind of just a cool little haven.
See, I wonder if I'm weird in that, I think of when I eventually move. Right now, I'm in a tiny little condo, but when I eventually move into a place that's all my own, and I want a basement, I want the space.
Yeah,
but I've
Pinball
realized
machines in the corner.
My haven is clean. Not to say this is not clean.
Yeah,
but I've realized I'm very modern,
more minimalist.
Not minimalistic in my approach, but almost necessities.
Yeah.
Right? There's things that I definitely want around, but I want the clean line. So I have boxes of Halo toys. I have... I haven't
even gotten the stuff on the walls yet. I've got like tons of things that are framed and yeah.
So I found that I've given a lot of stuff away, minus the Halo toys, but I'm thinking posters, I'm thinking t-shirts, memorabilia, other than Halo stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially a lot of that kind of stuff. We have 2 bins left still, I think, of stuff that we just kind of have that's like either extra that we like either, give to people, or sometimes family will want stuff and things like that. Yeah.
It's tough because I want to do this. Like I look at this and I go, oh great. So my vice has always been controllers.
Oh yeah. Your controller collection. I've got some cool ones, but I see your posts about them and I'm like, oh.
And right now they're just in a box because I know I can't put them out in my tiny space, but one day I do want to display them.
Dude, it's just the wall hangers, man.
That's what I'm thinking about doing. But then at the same time, I'm like, okay, that means I got to tear up a wall. What's that wall going to be?
I love, actually, it doesn't show up maybe as well on camera, but I like that Xbox does it, and I'm sure other people, platforms do it as well. But they've been doing the collectible controller mounts.
Yeah.
Basically, like the stands.
Yeah.
And
I hate that it's the ones with the rechargeable batteries because therefore they're more expensive.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to spend this much on the mount.
Yeah,
but I want the mount.
Yeah. So I like those. It makes it easier to store and display. But yeah,
I just got to say, this is beautiful. A monument to all your sins.
Yes, in so many ways. But yeah, I mean, and like you said, it is a great backdrop for discussing kind of like even our history and in games. I actually, we talk about memorabilia, and man, I thought about another one actually that I have in one of those bins. I would have grabbed it out if I'd have thought about it. But this is the first console that I ever owned new. So I had like an Atari 2600, the old fake wood paneling on it, and had an NES. I think we got it like a yard sale or a thrift store, Goodwill kind of thing. And my first console, what I would kind of consider even real console, which I have the disk drive still, that's what I was referring to, is the Commodore 64. My uncle gave us a Commodore 64 and a Commodore 128. And the games came on floppy disks that were actually floppy, big. And so we had hundreds of games on those things, and we played a ton of that. But the first brand new console that I ever got in box, and it was the Ken Griffey Jr. baseball bundle. It was this console, and
he's not talking about the style.
Nope, not the style.
It's literally just a
console. Straight. Yeah, in NES.
Like this one right here in front of them.
This exact one. Yeah, my parents still had it like in storage in their shed or something like that. We went down to Florida for the holidays, and they're like, "Hey, do you want this?" And I'm like, yes. And so
that's the hoarder in him.
I brought it back.
Signed by
the hoarder in me. They had it.
This is true. This is true.
It's genetic. But But yeah, so this is kind of like early days, man. This is like this is the first console, really, like the new one that I had, and I was hooked. After that, I've always been a console kid.
Yeah, I'm still the same way. Yeah. So let's talk then consoles. Let's go through our favorites from each one, starting with where I started because it was technically past the floppy disk phase.
Yeah.
But NES. NES, take me through your top 5 favorite games on that system.
Man, that'd be rough even to just think back over to. I mean, I loved the Mario games, like on the NES. I loved Duck Hunt.
Yep.
Yeah, like
that dog. I'd run up to the TV and clack, 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 clack.
Man, there was a game, and I'm trying to remember what the name of the game was, but it was I was a huge Mega Man fan too. Oh, I love the Mega Man games. But there was another game, and I don't remember what it was, but it was you were a knight and summiting this mountain and stuff like that, and you were going in and out of different spots in the mountains, and there were like dungeon type things, and that you had to fight. I just don't remember the name of it, but yeah, I would say the Mega Man games are probably what I sank the most time into on that original NES console. But I didn't have many games on the NES. It was a lot of blowing in old cartridges.
Super Mario Brothers. So technically that was the second game, right? Because it was So Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, they came on the same cartridge.
Yep. Yeah, that came the split.
I had my birthday. That's what I got for my birthday. Technically, it was like my brother's, but whatever. So that's 2 games. Double Dribble.
Oh yeah,
Double Dribble.
Was Larry Bird basketball or Bird versus Magic versus Bird?
Magic versus Bird.
Because I had that game on the Commodore, and we played it. We played it there.
And I'm trying to think.
Dr. J had one too. I think it was a Dr. J's basketball.
Wasn't there a Michael Jackson like Moonwalker one?
Oh, there was a Michael Jackson game.
Those were my few that I really, really remember playing. But that was it. I hated that.
It wasn't really until Super NES that I got into more games.
So I never owned a Super NES.
Okay.
I owned a Genesis.
Genesis? All right.
When I was 8.
Yeah.
December 21st, 1994.
Okay.
There was an event down at what's now Art Marble, was World Sports Grill, was Jillian's.
Okay.
So pool hall. We had a
downtown Seattle?
Yeah, downtown Seattle. You had to play a game of pool. You paid $75, played a game of pool against a Sonic, Seattle Supersonic.
Yeah.
And it was for a charity thing and yada, yada, yada. My mom was going to meet Sam Perkins at the time, was going to just hang with him, but they had to pay for me to get in. So I got to played against Nate McMillan, beat him, and I remember they gave me NBA Live 95 and Madden 95.
Oh.
They're like, oh, hey, cool, kid. And this is why I remember the date, because I was in the paper. Yes. So I think it happened on the 20th.
That's awesome.
And I was like, oh, no, I think I'm getting a Genesis. So I sneakily went and flip-flopped and, like, swapped out what they were handing me because they had a stack of games. So I ended up getting the Genesis version. And so those were my 2 on Genesis that I started out with.
Genesis, man. I love Sonic. And
then there was Sonic, NBA Jam.
Yeah.
Like the OG NBA.
He's heating up.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Arch Rivals. No. College Slam. College Slam was the other one. I had the Power Rangers game, the fighting game.
Yes.
Those were... it's so tough to pick.
Super NES was like Killer Instinct, the black cartridge.
So believe it or not, I hated fighting games growing up.
Really?
Because I'd never really owned any. Yeah, I had Power Rangers, but I never learned the system.
Okay.
I would play games like Shinobi.
Yeah.
Remember like Shinobi 3?
Yep.
And I would play Sonic, those kind of little platformer bits. I never really got into fighting games. So KI, believe it or not, even though I know I worked with it for years, was not a favorite. What were your favorites on SNES?
Killer Instinct, definitely. Goodness. Mario Kart. Played a lot of Mario Kart. Played a lot of NBA Jam. My buddy Gil and I played a lot of sports games, especially. Griffey Jr. Baseball, we played a ton of.
Was it Ken Griffey Jr.'s winning run?
I think Ken Griffey Jr. Baseball was a separate game. I think winning run was after it.
Yeah, winning run was the second one, right?
Yes.
And
I believe so.
So we had a SNES at the Boys and Girls Club. I would always cheat, and I would pause it. And there was a code that you could put in that made your players run faster.
Yep.
So I'd always be like, hey, what'd you say? And I would turn over here and be like, oh, yeah, well, da-da-da-da, while I'm entering the code. And I would bunt and load up the bases. And then there was another code that you could do. There was an instant home run, but the only way it could be activated was if it was a player that was in the home run derby in that game. So that was like Griffey, Frank Thomas,
Big Hurt.
Albert Bell. Was that one?
Yeah,
Was he on the
Albert Bell
Braves?
played for the
Indians?
Indians.
He was the Indians. So one of those guys. And I would always, they were like, how do you keep hitting grand slams? I just can't throw you out. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it sucks, man. Sucks to sucks. But sorry,
those would be my, I think, like, favorite ones on the Super Nintendo.
No Super Mario World? That's one of my favorite games of all time.
I do love it. For some reason, it just isn't the same for me. I had a great time with it, but I didn't play it as much.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Like
Donkey Kong Country.
I
absolutely loved it, though.
I love DK.
Yeah. Donkey Kong Country was awesome. Yeah, I love that. And then, N64 too. Like N64, I don't remember if it was N64 or the PlayStation original one was the first one I bought, like, with my own money. I think it was one of them. And N64, I definitely played. I played a ton of as well.
What was on there?
N64 would have been Killer Instinct as well. It was KI Gold at the time because it was the console port of KI2, which was in the arcades. Because I used to play Killer Instinct in the arcades a bunch. And Killer Instinct, they did a home port of the first game, and that was the black cartridge on Super NES. But Killer Instinct in the arcades was marketed as basically running on the Ultra 64 hardware.
Yep.
And it was supposed to be I think it was Project Dolphin, if I'm not mistaken, was the code name for the Ultra 64, the hardware that was coming out. Dolphin might have been in, no, I think it was in 64. But it wasn't until KI2 that they got it, and they got it on the console, and they came out as KI Gold.
Yeah.
I guess, they just didn't want to put a number behind it, and it was the only game on the console and stuff like that. But GoldenEye.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Obviously.
Believe it or not, I was not a fan of Slappers Only. I wanted to go
Proximity
Proximity Mines. I had so much fun with Proximity Mines.
Proximity Mines actually were mine. I would put them on the inside of doors.
Yep.
Put them on the inside of doors,
little bathroom
close the door.
stalls.
Yeah, the bathroom stalls. Or like in the vents.
Yep.
Too.
Yep.
Also, we like to play paintball. We would
Paintball is fun. Paintball's fun,
and you write stupid things, and of course, like trash collection in the game, like it wouldn't last very long. But loved. You had the no odd job rule.
Yeah. No odd job.
No odd job.
Jackass.
Yeah. Zelda, Ocarina of Time.
So
Fantastic.
I never played
Turok. I loved the Turok.
I did play Turok.
Loved Turok 1 and 2. Actually, I think
Wasn't
Turok
that a
2
black
also
cartridge?
is a black cartridge. Turok 2 was a black cartridge. And then Quarterback Club. Loved Quarterback Club.
I remember that. I remember one for the Genesis.
I think Brett Favre was on the cover of the Quarterback.
Do you remember Super High Impact?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which was like you could get into fights and you would have to mash the buttons to raise your level to see who won the battle there.
Super High Impact. A lot of NHL games. We played NHL games on there as well. Pod Racer. I loved Pod Racer on that, which I actually eventually got for the Dreamcast, which was a better version, I think. But we played a lot of Pod Racer on the N64 as well. Star Fox.
Star Fox, Super Mario 64, Star Fox are probably my two favorite.
Perfect Dark.
Didn't play a bunch of Perfect Dark.
Yeah.
But those two, GoldenEye, I'm trying to think if I had to pick two more. God, those three were my freaking, that was really it.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, I'm not a completionist in games at all.
Yeah.
But I definitely got all 120 stars, so I get that special triple jump.
Oh,
and Super Mario.
You want to talk about like completionist? That was me, and one of my other absolute favorite old N64 games is Shadows of the Empire, Star Wars Shadows of the Empire, and they had like the holocron, the rebel symbols that you would go and collect. Essentially, you just run and go and collect the things, and I got all of those. You should do all sorts of. I feel like N64 was one of the last generations where button combos and button codes and button entered cheat codes and stuff like that.
They had stuff.
PlayStation did have some as well, but I just remember it really like prolifically on the N64. Like there was a code for Gargos, that you could unlock Gargos, the boss, to play as him.
Mm-hmm.
You can unlock different colors too with certain button codes, like all gold
Oh, God.
all, like.
I know what I'm forgetting on 64. NFL Blitz. 514 left. That's the infinite turbo.
Yes. So Blitz 2 was amazing because it was either Blitz, the original, or Blitz 2000?
Blitz 2000 was one, yeah.
That you could bring your N64 cartridge, your memory cartridge, to the arcade, plug it in, and use your playbook as well.
No, there was just
you
one.
You could create a playbook and take your memory cartridge and take it to the arcade. And so when you played, you could put your memory cartridge in and use your own homemade plays.
Was the play called Cruisin'? It was down in the bottom right, and all you would do is your halfback would run off screen to the right,
mm-hmm.
and you would throw it back.
You do double pass
to him. Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
But you remember they had that stat that was like off-screen passes because it knew you were a little cheating son of a bitch. And so that was always me. I would just wait. I'm like, are you going to guard the halfback? Shoom, throwing it. Oh, we used to have battles.
Yep.
In that game. That was our
just
absolute
slamming
jam.
people after the play was done.
Jumping on them. Yeah, cheat codes got me thinking about that because that was the last time I really remember putting in cheat codes.
That was a lot of fun because when that game came out too, the Bucks, I grew up in Tampa. That was came out in, like, I think the first one came out in 99, and then the next one came out in either 2000 or 2001. And the Bucks at the time were really good, really successful. They were in the NFC Championship in 99, won the Super Bowl 2002. Like, they had one of the best defenses of all time. And so it was actually really cool, especially growing up like in Tampa and seeing people like picking them a lot and them being a really good team to get, like, in Blitz. You get like John Lynch and Derek Brooks and Warren Sapp just laying people out. And it was that was super cool to be in that area during that time as well. But yeah, N64 was a big one.
What about PlayStation?
So PlayStation, what's funny, I got a PlayStation game before I got a PlayStation.
What game?
I was a huge Spawn fan.
Spawny, he's our man. If he can't do it, no one can. That was like Wazamo.
Yep. So Spawn, they came out with a video game, and I really wanted it, and so I bought the video game. And it was like the first run of them had that kind of like chromium, like kind of like finish on the insert, the game insert. And so I bought that, and I was like, man, I'm gonna have to get a console.
That boot up sound was so good.
Wow. Yeah.
And then you would just wait and be like, is it gonna work?
That's actually the theme that I have running always on my PS4. They did a 20th anniversary theme.
Yep.
And so the boot up sounds and everything are all the old school. I absolutely love it. But I played a bunch. Gran Turismo on the original PlayStation was literally life-changing, actually, because it got me eventually into the sport professionally. That's a whole different episode. But Gran Turismo came out, I think it was 96, 97. First one came out, and that was super, super huge. Metal Gear.
Play Cool Borders?
Is it snowboarding?
Yeah. Cool Borders was so fun.
Yeah. Metal Gear was crazy. How you beat Psycho Mantis is you had to plug your controller into the second slot so he couldn't read your thoughts.
Oh.
Yeah, because he was basically every move that you would do, he would counter, and he was basically impossible to beat because he was reading your mind. But if you plugged the controller into the second port, he couldn't read your thoughts, and then you could beat him. And if you had, I think it was Konami, if you had Konami game saves on your memory card, he would read them off to you. Like, I see you playing Castlevania, and he'd be like,
PII. I'm just going crazy.
He would also say, he would be like,
I did not approve for you to access that information.
Down on the table. Or something. He would tell you to do this stuff, and you would put it down, and then you do a thing, and it would rumble. You'd do the vibration, thing. And so it was real weird Hideo Kojima fourth wall breaking, crazy stuff.
Did you ever play any Final Fantasy games?
No, I was never a Final Fantasy fan. Some of my really good friends were. They look neat.
Yeah,
but I just never got into it. Yeah, never played 7.
You know what I played a lot of? DDR.
Really?
Dance Revolution.
That's why you're so fit. Until you got so tall.
Yeah, that's because I'm German.
I never played.
We actually used to play on the controller too if we didn't have the pads out.
I might have been able to do it.
Yeah, some of our buddies would crack the PlayStation so we could install or play modded games or Japanese games.
Okay.
And, other things like that. And then DDR was one of them.
We definitely had those. I think that was part of Dreamcast's downfall. Is you could
can.
play burned games with no like boot discs and stuff like that. You could just burn a CD.
Dreamcast was my.
I still have mine plugged in the den.
All right, well let's get to that one because I can name off 3 right now.
That's where Crazy Taxi.
Fuck yeah.
Let's go. You just say Crazy Taxi, and all of a sudden the Offspring start playing in my head.
Ready for this one? Ready to Rumble. Round 2.
Okay. Yes.
Lulu
yeah,
Valentine
absolutely.
was from Seattle.
Did you ever play Power Stone?
Power Stone 2 with
Okay.
Wang Tang.
Yeah. So
and it was Wang Tang, Ryoma. Wang Tang was my favorite.
Spawn had a game on the Dreamcast called Spawn in the Demon's Hand. And there was a very like Spawn Power Stone-ish rip-off, kind of like MOBA, ish, or kind of not really MOBA, but just that battle arena style game. And I loved it.
Power Stone 2 was so good.
Yeah, Power Stone was awesome.
What was the other one I played?
Pod racing we played a lot of. Probably my favorite racing game ever, which is saying a lot for me, was on the Dreamcast. It was called Test Drive Le Mans, done by Infogrames and Melbourne House. It was based on the 24 hours of Le Mans, and I raced the 24 hours. They had a thing where you could do a real-time 24 hours, day, night, rain, shine, but you could save at pit stops if you needed to. So over the course of a few days, like I actually ran the 24 hours, which was super cool.
Here's one. I had to make sure it was the right name. Tokyo Extreme Racer.
Oh, yeah.
I used to play that.
Tokyo Extreme Racer was awesome.
Where you would flash the headlights,
Yes.
get into a race on the highway.
Yep.
Oh, that was a game. Wait, this was on PlayStation. Do you remember Driver?
Yeah, absolutely.
Driver, you are the wheelman.
Yep.
That was a game. That was a great game.
Yeah.
NFL 2K.
Yeah, I have NFL 2K and 2K1 in the.
Do you know how
Randy Moss
game changing it was to be able to wear visors?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that was just occluding some issues with
even just seeing more realistic player
models.
It
looked so good.
Yeah, you're like, they're not just blockheads.
You could create an entire team and customize its colors and logos. So we made. I was in 8th grade when it came out. We made our Greenwood Spartans football team.
There you go.
And I was a center, and my buddy Michael was a wide receiver, and I just remember making that. This is it. This is all I ever need.
Jeez.
And I got the demo disc from Pizza Hut, and then I ended up getting the game. That's where my love for Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
I thought that was where my love for Pizza Hut came.
No, Tony Hawk Pro Skater was. I played that to World's End.
Demo discs, man. That's just not as much a thing. I think you can still get maybe some demos in like an OXM, but I remember the Jam Pack PlayStation demo discs. I think I probably still have a couple of them just laying around somewhere.
Racer right now. Golly.
Reminds me of the old. My brother and I used to play a Commodore 64 football game called 4th and Inches. It was done by Accolade, same people who did Hardball. And in a similar vein, it was red versus blue. Those are the teams. I think it was the champs versus the all stars, and like crazy names. You had Joe Dakota instead of Montana. RM Pitts. Tank, Salat, like these are, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. A lot of fun memories there, man. So what would you say your favorite console ever was?
Oh God, I would always go to Funkoland because that's how long ago this was, before GameStop or EB was a thing, and just trade and get whatever I could. Maybe do I say Dreamcast? Because I think that's where the formation and the love really took over. N64 I spent a lot of time in too. It's one of those two.
Yeah.
I would say Dreamcast because that's where I really felt gaming was my own, but I don't know. What about you?
Well, let me think about it. Maybe the 360.
Well, we haven't even talked about those.
I know.
Like
favorite out of all of those is probably the 64. Probably the N64. From like the Commodore 64 is just pure childhood nostalgia. The Epics games, the summer games, California games, world games, 4th and Inches, Hardball, Zolix, all sorts of just crazy old school games that formed my initial love for gaming. I can't thank my uncle enough. My uncle unfortunately passed when I was in my mid-20s. We were super close. I always, working in games now, I look back kind of wistfully and I'm like, man, I wish he was still around. He'd be super proud and just like stoked, I think, to see that. And I have him in some ways to thank/blame, because for stoking a lot of that early love for games. And I always think of my uncle as being just an older adult, but really he was doing this when he was like in his 20s, maybe late 20s, and considerably younger probably than I am now. But yeah, probably the N64 as far as just formative time in life and playing with your buddies and getting together in that weird controller and like the collection of games that was on it, like getting to play GoldenEye, getting to play Killer Instinct, and getting to play, Mario 64, fantastic game, on there, just like, yeah.
All right, well, let's
out
get
of the
into,
ones that we named, probably the 64.
Because now I think that's a good break to get into new school games. When I say new school,
360, PS2 and after?
No.
Or PS3?
PS2, Xbox. Because those two were right around the same time. And then it's 360, PS3, Xbox One, PS4.
The numbers always shift me off.
So let's start with PS2.
PS2 was
Gran Turismo 4.
PS2 is one of the greatest consoles of
Four.
all time. Is Gran Turismo 4. 1 and 2 came out on the PS1.
Oh, so it was 3.
3 and 4 came out on the PS.
So 3 is the one I'm thinking of that kind of kicked things off.
PS2.
Do you remember you could turn the little bezel thing? Change the orientation.
Yep.
I can't remember much that I played on the PS2. Yeah.
You stand it vertically.
I know I played a ton. I know I had them.
PS2, I mean, Metal Gear Solid 2 was on the PS2. I played a ton of that. I played a lot of games on the PS2.
Why can't
Gran
I
Turismo,
remember?
3 and 4 were ridiculous. Taurus Trophy was a motorcycle game that was really awesome, also done by Polyphony. The PlayStation version of that earlier Le Mans game was just called Le Mans 24 Hours. That was around in like 2000, 2001. That was out at the time. There's tons of stuff. A lot of the Metal Gear games. Because I think Metal Gear Solid 3 might have also been on the... Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 3 was definitely on the PS2 as well.
I can't remember, and I know I had one. I can't remember much that I played on there.
My buddy, my good friend of mine and roommate for quite a while, used to play Final Fantasy 11, which I think was the first one that did the whole MMO stuff. Like a lot of people played Warcraft. He actually and his friends played Final Fantasy 11 like a ton.
You know what's one that I haven't touched on? And I know it was on there. I'm trying to remember. It was San Andreas. GTA.
Yeah.
What up, CJ? That one. Like,
GTA is another franchise that I never really got into.
I played it because, it's horrible as it sounds, it was just fun to mindlessly blow up cars and do things in the game.
Crazy good sandbox.
What was the snowboarding game on PS2?
SSX.
Oh my God, Tricky. It's tricky. Here we go.
Yeah.
That was my game. All right, that was one.
Yeah. And when you talk about like,
was that
like
that was
Xbox? Xbox was big because I got an Xbox pretty early. Obviously Halo.
Yes.
That's a whole different episode. Halo's obviously huge in my life, but also for the Xbox, for the platform itself. But there were a ton of Xbox games actually that I played a whole bunch, just like I did the Halo. Crimson Skies.
Never played Crimson Skies.
Absolutely loved Crimson Skies. Brutal Legend.
That was the guitar one, right?
No, Brutal Legend. Oh, sorry. Brute Force.
Okay.
Brutal Legend was the guitar one, is the Jack Black guitar one. Brute Force, actually, is the one with all just like crazy like Spec Ops group that were like monsters and animal humanoid things and kind of crazy. Abe's Odyssey, another one. Another good one. Apex was a great Xbox racing game. If I look over, actually, my Xbox racing games, original Xbox, the first Forza was on the original Xbox. Forza Motorsport came out in 2005. That was super life changing. Toka Race Driver, like Pro Race Driver, Race Driver 2 and 3.
How dare you not mention Fusion Frenzy yet?
Yeah, that's true. It's Fusion Frenzy. I like Fusion Frenzy, but it wasn't as I didn't play it as much. I think too, I just didn't play as much with people there on the same console.
And see, that was
With
me.
that-
That's all I played.
Yeah, that makes more sense to do that. But yeah, I mean, I played a ton of Jedi Starfighter, another one, another great one for the original Xbox. Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you, my original Xbox was a Halo and Halo 2 machine. That was
Yep.
That
Well,
was,
Halo 2 is my favorite Halo game.
yeah.
So Halo 2
look
is
at
my
you getting
favorite.
cred with a competitive scene.
It's for the story and the lore. But Halo 2 was also my first midnight launch. My first midnight launch, and the first
Same.
ever,
I worked at GameStop.
the first ever collector's edition that I ever got.
It was only $5 more. It was the metal
Only
tin.
$5
Oh,
more.
I miss the days.
It's right there. It's actually right. Yep, right there. There it is. This is my.
It even has the sleeve on it.
It still has the sleeve.
It said it was Xbox Live
Yep.
online enabled.
Yep. Yeah, so yeah, Halo 2 is my favorite, and that's the first one. It is exactly right. I know exactly where I was. I was at the GameStop in right next to Perkins, the restaurant, right next. It was across the street from USF. It was essentially the USF campus, the University of South Florida campus GameStop, right across the street from the Science Center that I worked at. And I went to the midnight launch, and we waited. We got up there, and he was like, "Do you want the collector's edition? It's only $5 more." He showed it to me, and I was like, "Yes, that's
Sure.
awesome looking." I actually found the box from my green Halo Xbox.
I have the box.
Yes. I just need the console now.
I got two of them. I'll bring one over here. Because I
there it is.
one, do you have the controller?
I don't.
So you need both. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I have two of the
But I
Halo.
found the receipt.
Oh, ain't that about
The
a
receipt
bitch.
in the box, like for it, and
Do you still have your Halo 2 Xbox Live headset?
No, I saw you.
I'm not
post that.
giving you that.
No, that's awesome. Because Halo 3 did one too. The Halo 3 did the
little
the
green
military
one. Yeah,
green one.
This one was,
Yeah, it wasn't as cool. Yeah, I agree.
and what sucks is that was my second one. My first one ended up dying. I
Oh, wow.
used that thing
Oh, dude,
religiously.
it's insane. Do you remember the Xbox Live commercials with the one dude, the
yes.
blonde hair?
Yeah.
Like, yo, all right, gamers.
Try not to. All right. Well, Xbox is easy.
Yep.
PS3.
PS3 is another. I mean,
Did you play Resistance? Fall
yes,
of Man?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
so
is this Killzone? Killzone, I think, was also PS3.
yeah, I didn't play Killzone.
Haze,
But
the Halo killer.
When Resistance came out, when the PlayStation 3 launched, and I remember when I finally picked one up, I think I sold my first one,
Mm-hmm.
got one again in like February. It was President's Day, as a matter of fact, because that's when I got my LCD TV.
Okay.
Like my
What?
first 1080i.
Okay.
It was a monitor. Technically, it was a
Yeah, yeah,
monitor,
yeah.
but it was a 37-inch TV. It just didn't have a coaxial, so it was a monitor.
Yep.
And I remember playing Resistance, and I was like, oh, shit, Xbox is in trouble. Like, I swear to God, I was thinking that.
It's a good game. Really good game.
What else did I play on there? Was Resogun was 4.
That I
What
don't
was-
remember.
What was the, not game, but what was the thing that you could do where you could connect it was like the protein building thing, where you basically allowed somebody to access your PS3 and it would like use its computational power to.
Oh, because there was a big problem, or there was a big kind of a Y2K scare thing that they were going to be the war in the Middle East, the Gulf War, that they were stringing together PS3s to like launch missiles and stuff.
No, there was like something where
like-
you could literally.
It's like
But
a
it was
like a
that.
farm, like
Yeah.
like kind of like a render farm or
Yeah.
cloud farm or something like that you could.
I used to just do that all the time. What else? What'd you play?
PS3. Oh man.
That big old brick.
I literally
machine.
look over to the side to see, because usually it's racing games.
Yeah, there's GT5.
Gran Turismo 5 definitely on the PS3. And goodness, what other PS3 games? I don't know why I'm drawing like
I draw the same blanks because
a crazy
I've
blank
learned
on
to
the
forget them.
PS3. Well, because the PS3 finally took a back seat to the 360. The 360 to me was
The de facto
Yes.
winner of.
like, if you pull up PS3 games, like top 3 PS3 games, what is the Oracle
That's
say?
literally what I'm looking at here. Well, let's see. Oh gosh, and these were multi-plat. NBA Street,
Okay.
NFL Street,
Yep.
FIFA Street.
Yeah.
Those were a ton of fun.
Wasn't actually it might have been the previous generation, the game that launched I think at 1999, and that was ESPN football, which I think was the 2K. It became the 2K franchise, maybe something like that. There was an ESPN, because I think it might have been Warren Sapp on the cover, and that's right about the time that EA went to the exclusivity license with the NFL.
Some of these are just technically GTA 5.
Okay.
Red Dead Redemption was one. But again, now we're getting into multi-plat things that we probably play on another console. But that was it. My PlayStation was definitely a Resistance machine.
Yeah, PS3.
And that's no disrespect to it. It's just I built that Xbox ecosystem.
I'm literally trying to think of my PS3, and I had the mothership version, the gigantic
same, the OG
one.
Yeah.
Which I think might have been, was it the only one that could play back compat? There was some sort of thing where like it could do certain things that the other ones couldn't eventually.
Yeah.
I think maybe it was a back compat thing.
All right. Well, we know it's coming since we've been Xbox boys. 360.
360, man. I still think the 360 is probably the best console of all time. It's at least maybe my favorite. Just the breadth.
Tiger Woods PGA Tour 05 was one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
Stay on the fairway. Stay on the fairway.
The breadth of what the 360 offered. Like, I mean, you're talking Gears of War launching on that that franchise launched there. Halo 3. That
was my favorite ad campaign of all time.
Seminal moments in just gaming, period. Project Gotham. Like,
what was your favorite theme?
I'll tell you what, my favorite
blades.
I was just gonna say.
Of course, you're this. I would do that all the time.
Yes, when you're making the blade music. Oh my gosh, that was the best.
Remember when you had to get a Wi-Fi adapter?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I always tried to hardline anyway, but 360 was just incredible.
We could keep going.
A lot of the Forzas
listing games, but I think you guys know us well enough by now to know that.
Yeah, and as we get, as we become more current, obviously, it's.
I know. Do we even go through PS4 and Xbox One?
Nah,
I don't think we do. Just because
I don't. Think
we're still playing them. I play a bunch of Apex.
Yeah. It's.
I can't look back on.
You say what's so funny? You say Apex, and I immediately go, "Oh, that was one of my favorite racing games on the original Xbox."
Okay, boomer.
Yeah.
I don't like that you did that noise so well.
Mass Effect.
Oh yeah,
Mass Effect launched same year. 2007 was just a ridiculously year for
BioShock,
gaming.
Call of Duty.
Yep, BioShock,
Halo
Mass
3.
Effect, Halo 3. Call of Duty.
That was the first
Modern Warfare. Yep.
Assassin's Creed, right?
Yes, I believe the first Assassin's Creed was also.
Surprised the hell out of me too. That story threw me for a loop, and I was like, I'm hooked.
Yep.
I am now in.
Yep. Nope, same. Maybe Uncharted 2? I don't remember if it came out because it launched with the PS3, I believe. No, PS3. And Uncharted 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. I just don't remember if it was 2007 or not. It might have been a year later.
I'm going to take a left turn now since I don't want us to forget about this bit. We'll call this our last console because I think it's going to be the last console. First of all, we haven't done any handhelds.
So I never really played handhelds.
Cool, because neither did I. Except for the PSP, and that was Hot Shots Golf. I'll just tell you that right now.
I didn't really, I wanted a PSP or like a Vita eventually just because I thought it was cool and there was a Gran Turismo game on it. I had an old Game Boy that we got at like a yard sale or a hand-me-down or something like that, and I played a little bit of Killer Instinct on it.
Oh, well,
but it died a lot.
Let's talk Wii.
Never had it.
Wow.
Yep. So
played Wii
GameCube,
Sports.
which we totally bypassed.
Oh God, GameCube.
GameCube. was the last Nintendo console that I owned until my wife and I put a Nintendo Switch on our wedding registry, and that's how I got my Nintendo Switch.
You have a Switch, okay.
Yeah, so I do have a Switch. And I only have, Zelda Smash, and I'm terrible at Smash, so I have nothing unlocked. And Mario Kart on it.
Not bad.
And it's really my travel console. Like, I would
Odyssey.
play, like, big chunks in...
You need to get Odyssey.
I know. Odyssey looks amazing.
I'm almost done with it. It's fun.
Yeah,
It's
Odyssey looks really, really awesome.
There's no silly yes. If at first I was like, this hat is a gimmick. Like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
I'm having fun with it. Not like Sunshine and the Jetpack.
Yeah.
I didn't like that.
Yeah.
But
No, I didn't do handhelds, really. The Wii was the console we ended up playing over at other people's houses where that was the only console they had.
so you played Wii Sports.
Yeah,
Played
we
Wii
definitely
bowling.
played Wii Sports, Wii Bowling, Wii Tennis.
Super Mario Strikers was one of my favorite games of all time.
Oh, that's the soccer one,
Yes.
right? Yeah, okay.
Yes. Whoa, Wario. I would be singing that all the time.
Yeah. So that's it for Wii U. Never got
I never touched
into
Wii U. I never touched
any
a
of
Wii U.
that.
I forget. We all pretend that thing never existed.
I think so does Nintendo.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
there's still more
fun.
to talk about with gaming. but
definitely.
This is just
And
a
let us know
little
too,
insight.
if you're watching on YouTube, to tell us in comments or hit us up on social media, whether it be one of our personal ones or the Casual Pros Cast, I think is
Yes.
on Twitter. Let us know like your thoughts on it, and or if there's anything you want us to go deeper into, we could talk about that. I mean, I could definitely like go in and dive into more of some of my favorites and just specific memories and stuff, especially some of those early ones. Because the one thing I love about the consoles is it's very time capsule. Like when I look at the games that were on there, and sometimes even just holding one, I can thumb through a manual, and all of a sudden like the surroundings change, and I've got like Wednesday night youth group that night, and baseball practice the next day, and like all sorts of stuff. That's one of my favorite things. It's like albums, when you listen to an album from a certain era and it puts you back in that era. I think games have that same kind of magic to be able to do similar things.
Absolutely.
It's good. Another episode that we've ran over. We stuck really hard and fast to our 30-minute thing for a good handful.
But we didn't know if that was going to be
true.
the rule or the
and we
exception.
had people actually. We had people say like, "Oh, I wish you would talk about things longer." So we've tried. If you're like, "Okay, God, please shut up. It's half an hour is enough." That's totally fine. Let us know. We may do it. We may not. That's the great thing about this. It's just whatever we want.
It's ours.
It's whatever we want.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching and or listening.
Yeah.
Another episode next week. Until then, I'm Rukari. This is Jeff. We'll see you later.
Bye.